Good evening, folks, and a hearty welcome to our drive-in theater.
Keelan Cole with his third touchdown.
Defender Josh Norman to his backside.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Pulp Fantasy, my goofy, silly show I do on YouTube for In Between Media. My name is Scott Rinear. I also write a column called The Mondays for In Between Media, and you can mostly find me on Twitter. I go at the handle @MunderDifflinFF. So if you frequent the Twitter.com app, throw me a follow, come hang out. We have a lot of fun. Talk a lot of fantasy football, regular football, and just goof around, basically. So anyway, straight into this show. Like I said, we are in the NFL offseason. And holy crap, has it been an offseason so far. Hold on, I have an interrupter, and I'm not going to edit this out. I'm just going to show you. This is Douglas Taco. This is our new puppy. And he has been asleep right up until I started filming this. And like a good puppy, he knew that was exactly the time he needed to bother me for something. So what are we going to do? Okay, so we're going to hit pause. So where were we? Oh, yes, the NFL offseason. Well, for starters, free agency started and trades started happening.
Excuse me. All right, move on. Nothing to see here. Please disperse. Nothing to see here, please.
So yes, if you've been paying attention at all, you see that it's been the craziest offseason in the history of ever. If you haven't been paying attention, I'm going to start today by covering some of the highlights, starting in the most obvious place for me as a Seahawks fan, with the earth-shattering news that the Seahawks. Can I get a drum roll? Re-signed tight end Will Disley to a 3-year contract.
Oh, I get it. It's very clever. Thank you. How's that working out for you? What? Being clever?
It's going just fine, Brad. Thank you for asking. So, but for real, the Seahawks did trade franchise quarterback Russell Wilson to the Denver Broncos for some stuff. Asked me how I feel about that trade as a Seahawks fan, which I am. I think it's simultaneously the dumbest and the smartest move the Seahawks have ever made, depending on which minute of which day it is. So, another trade that went down. Amari Cooper, former Cowboy, traded to the Cleveland Browns. This trade was earlier than most of the offseason fireworks, and so here was the general reaction as soon as Amari Cooper got traded to the Browns.
Oh, God. Hello?
Hey, Peter?
Sarah? Hey.
Hey, what's going on up there? You getting complaints about a woman crying hysterically?
Yeah, you know what? I hear her too, and it sounds like she's having such a hard time. I think it's coming from the floor above me.
You're on the top floor.
However, not long after Cooper's trade, the Browns made another totally normal and totally not horseshit move by trading for quarterback Deshaun Watson, and also guaranteeing him a small country's GDP in the process in his contract. You know, some were disappointed with this move, but don't worry. I heard there were only like 25 minutes left in the grand jury testimonies for Watson's sexual assault allegations. There was about 20 minutes left in that when the Browns called him and gave him the good news. So it was wrapping up. Another big trade, another blockbuster trade that in and of itself would have been huge in any other offseason, but was just one of many here. And that was Devontae Adams, wide receiver, formerly with the Green Bay Packers, was traded to the Las Vegas Raiders, at which time Raiders fans immediately and ruthlessly started defending Adams as if he had been on the team since, I don't know, the early 1850s. Tom Brady, unretired after being retired for a couple of hours. He was retired just long enough for the industry-wide ass-kissing to run its course. Well-deserved ass-kissing, he's the GOAT, but also long enough to where we'll inevitably have to do that again. We'll have to run through that whole Brady GOAT thing another time when he officially retires at some point in the future. Moving on to my main topic, the NFL has finally changed its overtime rules. I can only assume they changed these rules based on all the complaining that was happening on Twitter. You know, it was actually pretty fun, I gotta say, to watch the 4 to 5 million different ideas for how overtime could play out on Twitter. It was pretty entertaining. But in the end, the NFL decided for a pretty simple change. Hold on. Let's see here. So, the new change is, okay, how about we just let both teams have the ball and shit? All right. So, I mean, that's not the most exciting rule change that there will be, but that is the overtime change in the NFL. And apparently, at least to start with, it's only going to apply in the playoffs because, as we all know, a very significant rule change, you don't want to try and test that out during less meaningful games during the regular season. You really want to see if it works for the first time in a playoff game that the entire world is watching. So good on the NFL there, smart all the way around. So in the spirit of rule changes, I am introducing a new segment that I will probably be adding to because these types of ideas just kind of pop into my head. So I'm going to propose some of my own changes, not to any kind of rules, but more to NFL vocabulary and common phrases. And again, this will be my new segment entitled, for now, NFL Terms and Phrases as Told by the Movie Dazed and Confused and various other movies too. That's the name of the segment. So here we go. I'm going to list off some very common NFL vocabulary phrases, just things we hear all the time. And I'm going to show what I propose it be referred to as moving forward. So for starters, instead of touchdown,
Sixer.
Instead of calling it the NFL draft, NFL draft experts.
I get older, they stay the same age.
Maybe instead of an early down running back, at least when it comes to receptions.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
Practice squad.
Hey, Coach Conrad. Remember me? Second period gym class?
Juke. How about pass interference if it's called against my team?
Fuck all of you! Fuck you! Damn it!
And pass interference if it's called against their team.
All right.
Or bench presses, like at the combine.
I've got 411 posi track out back, 750 double pumper, Edelbrock intakes, board over 30, 11-to-1 pop-up pistons, turbojet 390 horsepower. We're talking some fucking muscle.
Cole Beasley.
The older you do get, the more rules are gonna try to get you to follow. You just gotta keep living, man. Livin.
Bad call by a referee.
Okay.
Or Hail Mary.
I can throw a football over the mountains.
The Deshaun Watson trade.
Boy, that's an awful lot of money for the stupidest idea I've ever heard.
Or a fumble through the end zone being the other team's ball at the 20.
That doesn't make any fucking sense!
Or when a chintzy 5-yard penalty on defense on 3rd and long is an automatic first down.
Stupid.
And finally, a torn ACL.
Pop, pop! Pop, pop! Pop, pop!
And that's it. I've been meaning to do a vocabulary segment for quite some time, as things pop in and out of my head. I think it's really fun. So like I said, I'm going to continue to add to it. It may eventually turn into something I actually turn into some sort of document that's just all for fun, because that's what I'm here for. So anyway, thank you. This is another episode of Pulp Fantasy. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're enjoying the NFL offseason. Taking a break if you need to, digging in deeper if you need to, like me. We got the NFL draft coming up in a couple of weeks, a very exciting time. So until then, so again, Munder Difflin, FF on Twitter. Come hang out. I like to have fun. I like to post GIFs. I like to make jokes, dad jokes, puns. I will every now and then put out some actual fantasy football stuff. I also, oddly enough, with all my joking around, am a huge data nerd as well. So I'll be posting various things like that over the course of the off season. So anyway, again, thanks for watching. The show is super fun to make. And remember, as always, laugh at stuff. It feels good. All right. Peace.